This is the METS POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the New York Mets. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Nolan McLean struck out 11. Brett Beatty hit a huge 3-run home run. Edwin Diaz continues to be lights out for the Mets. And it's a series win against the Chicago Cubs now with one series remaining left in the 2025 regular season. Welcome in to the Mets Postcast here live on the Locked On Mets YouTube channel and the Locked On Mets podcast feed. I'm your Postcast host, Chris Schubert, here with you recapping all things New York Mets tonight. Also hanging out on the Locked On MLB YouTube channel and the Locked On Sports Today YouTube channel. So shout out to all of you that are watching us over there tonight as well. The Mets pick up an 8-5 victory, locking up a series win. And where we will start tonight's postcast, the Mets still in control of their own destiny.
This is what you'll be talking about.
The Reds did pick up a win earlier today at home against Pittsburgh, salvaging the finale of that series. Diamondbacks lost to the Dodgers. Pressure on the Mets, though. A loss, Reds back in a tie, Reds back in control with that tiebreaker. A win from the Mets, washing away what the Reds did earlier today, keeping them in control. So with 3 games to go left in the season, a 3-game series in Miami starting tomorrow, the Mets will get on a plane tonight, wake up in their hotel room tomorrow in Miami, and they will still control their destiny. A 1-game lead with 3 games to play. And they did it. Nolan McLean on the mound. Spin, spin, and more spin. The name of the game for Nolan McLean. A weird start for Nolan. He struck out 11, setting a new season high for the Mets here in 2025. Tyler McGill twice got to 10 strikeouts this season. Nolan McLean getting to 11 tonight. And he did it with the spin on that curveball, on that sweeper, through that slider, mixed in that fastball. Did make a couple of mistakes, though. Three home runs allowed, and that's the only reason why the Cubs were even able to remain in this game, because other than that, it's a pretty dominating performance from Nolan McLean. And you can just tell when you watch this Mets team play, when there is confidence on the mound in the starter, what that does to the rest of the team. Nolan McLean just has a persona. He just has a feel, a composure about him, that it doesn't matter that the Mets are up against. It doesn't matter that the Reds had won earlier today. Didn't matter the last 2 nights worth of starts from David Peterson and Jonah Tong. Nolan McLean is the ace of this Mets staff, and he continues to prove it start in and start out. And if the Mets are able to get into the postseason, I think there's no question about it. That is your game 1 starter. He's been great now through 8 starts. Little side note for those of you keeping track, he did not throw 7 1/3 innings in tonight's game. So that should do it for him here in the regular season, meaning he will retain rookie eligibility for next season, which means if he wins a Rookie of the Year award or a Cy Young award next season, the Mets will get a compensatory pick for that. So I know there were some people out there paying attention to that here going into that final start. No need to worry. He did not hit the innings threshold, at least unless he's a reliever here over the next 3 days. And it will be an all-hands-on-deck approach. The Mets should not allow that to guide their decision-making, but it doesn't look like he'll be in there over the next 3 days. So if that was the last we saw of Nolan McLean here in the regular season, the Mets did not tap all of his rookie eligibility. So he will be a rookie, at least status-wise, going into next season. So the final stat line looks a little weird. 5 1/3, did give up the 5 runs, did give up the 3 home runs, but early on in this game, was the dominant pitcher that he has been through coming into tonight, his first 7 starts of the season, a sub-2 ERA. And he looked every bit of that here through the first couple of innings. Again, some middle pitches. It was a middle pitch to, I believe it was Dansby Swanson for a home run. It was a middle changeup to Seiya Suzuki for his first home run. And then Suzuki just turned on one on the inner half, the 3-run shot that made it 8-5, made you a little nervous, but just a reminder, the Mets have Edwin Diaz and a bullpen that was really, really good tonight. Shout out to Ryan Stanek, who potentially could be getting back into the circle of trust, the trust tree, however we're describing it. Brooks Raley was great. Tyler Rogers was great. Edwin Diaz also fantastic as well and he has just been lights out for this team for most of the season. But right now, they are heavily using him. He got in the first game of this series. That was his third appearance in 4 days, pitched twice in this series, and was lights out and got the job done, picked up a save, and kept the Mets in control. And you got to feel it. You get to the ballpark, you see it up on that scoreboard. You know that Cincinnati won earlier today. Wasn't a problem here for the New York Mets at all as they picked up the 8-5 win. And again, a reminder of when this team gets the quality on the mound from the starting pitching, just everything flows from there. Everything. The rest of the bullpen flows from there. Their offense flows from there. There's just a confidence. It's just a different feel when the team feels confident in their starter, when their starter is out there exuding that confidence. And Nolan McLean is young enough to where he probably doesn't know any better. And he's just going out there and he is just pitching like it's just a casual Thursday afternoon. And it was anything but you wouldn't tell based on his demeanor there on the mound. Got to talk about the Mets offense. Brett Baty back in the lineup here today. He has a big hit. Tyrone Taylor adding an RBI hit as well. The idea of the Mets starting their best 9 here the rest of the way. We'll discuss no Francisco Alvarez in the game tonight as well. The other stuff to keep an eye on as well. We will get to all of it here, and your thoughts always welcome here on the Mets Postcast. All of it on the other side. NFL season is here. FanDuel making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers, you bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Perhaps you want to build that same game parlay. You want to get in on some player props or even jump in live as the action unfolds. Makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet's Go Long. That's exactly where Rugiet's Go Long comes in. This isn't just another ED pill. It is a total game changer for confidence. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula so you can get hard and go the distance. The process, simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online, and if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly right to your door. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to RUGIET.com. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com. Promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Make sure to use our code so they know we sent you. Back here, Mets Postcast, Locked On Mets YouTube channel, the Locked On Mets podcast feed. Also live on the Lockdown MLB channel tonight, the Locked On Sports Today channel as well. To shout out to all of you watching us over there as well. Recapping an 8-5 win for the New York Mets that keeps them in a playoff spot with just 3 days remaining here in the regular season. Was a nice night at the office for the offense. Francisco Lindor with a home run. Brett Baty with a huge 3-run shot to make it 6-0. And I want to talk about this for just a second because Gary Cohen mentioned it on the broadcast that Carlos Mendoza said before the game that he felt like he could only start one of the lefties between Brett Baty and Jeff McNeil against Shota Imanaga. By the way, Mets have faced Imanaga 3 times now. 2 of the 3 they have really gotten to him. I think it was his last start before this one. He only went 3 innings. Mets got 10 runs on him. And so tonight it was a similar fate. It was 8 earned runs over 5 2/3. So the Mets seemingly have his number, and they took it to him tonight. Lots of hard hit contact, even the outs, even some great defensive plays from Chicago or some loud outs. And Mets did a really nice job, had a really good game plan, and executed it well. Brett Baty gets that home run, his, I think, 18th of the season, so closing in on a 20-homer season for Brett Baty. And I know Carlos Mendoza really believes in these platoon splits and likes to lean into them and didn't feel like he could put 2 lefties in there, hence why Acuna got the start. You got to play your best 9. I don't care matchups, lefty, righty. Which 9 hitters are the best that I have? Tyrone Taylor, I don't care if it's a righty, a lefty. I don't care if it's me pitching. I don't care if it's Nolan Ryan pitching. Doesn't matter. Tyrone Taylor in the lineup every day. Brett Baty in the lineup every day. Jeff McNeil in the lineup every day. The best 9 have to be the group here with 3 games to go in the regular season that either get this team in or they are the reason that this team misses. It has to be on the best 9 hitters that you have. And that means Tyrone Taylor's in center field. That means Francisco Alvarez is behind the plate. And I want to talk about Francisco Alvarez as well, because it was before the game we found out he wasn't in the lineup. Luis Torrens in there hitting 6 tonight. And the reasoning that Carlos Mendoza gave was he kind of cramped up late in the game. And so Carlos Mendoza said he was going to give Francisco Alvarez either today or tomorrow a day off. And so he decided that today. Now, I have a lot of questions about this. Everything that I know about Francisco Alvarez, everything that I've seen from Francisco Alvarez, playing with 8 fingers, playing with an elbow that's banged up. He will play through anything for this team right now. He is swinging a hot bat right now. So this doesn't feel like something where Francisco Alvarez went to the team, went to the manager and said, I'm cramping up, I can't play. This felt like something that Carlos Mendoza decided, hey, my catcher's coming to me. He is cramping up. I'm going to give him a day off. You just can't do that. You got to find a way to get Francisco Alvarez in the lineup. You don't want him catching? Okay, he can DH instead of Mark Vientos. Again, best 9 need to play for this team right now. And you can't be doing these types of weird managerial decisions with your season hanging in the balance. The Mets don't have any margin for error. They slip up once and the Reds capitalize. That's it. They don't have the tiebreaker. So every one of these games matters. You saw earlier today, Cincinnati beat Pittsburgh. So thought it was a mistake to not have Alvarez in there. Didn't burn them. They won the game. Alvarez can be back in there tomorrow, and I would expect him to play all 3 games over the weekend. So it didn't cost them. But boy, when that lineup came out and you heard the explanation, it just doesn't seem like anything that Francisco Alvarez would do considering what he's already playing through this season. So that felt like the Mets and Carlos Mendoza playing it careful. I get it. He doesn't need to be behind the plate. He can DH. And if you need to worry about, using him as a catcher later if Torrens gets hurt, you take that chance. Best 9. You need to put the best 9 out there for you offensively. And oh, by the way, you looked much better defensively tonight with Beatty out there at third, Tyrone in center field. Just looked better with those guys in the right spot. Acuna at second base obviously helped defensively over McNeil, so at least you had that going for you. But a much better defensive effort from this team tonight. Brett Beatty with that barehanded play. Play him at third base every single day. That's the starting third baseman for the New York Mets. Just there's no doubt about it. A big one for the Mets tonight. They kept themselves in front of the Cincinnati Reds with now 3 games to go. I had to do the update of the playoff picture at the top because we don't need to do it here at the end because everybody else has played. The Mets were actually the last team of the 3 in action here. And so now they'll get on a plane and head down to Miami. The other things that maybe we want to keep an eye on here. Soto had a rough night, 0 for 5. Don't expect that to linger for too long, but he did have a rough night tonight. Mark Vientos is struggling, so wonder if Starling Marte draws into the DH spot there tomorrow because Mark has been struggling. Again, that's a managerial decision I can understand if you want to give Mark the day off. He sometimes is your best 9, sometimes he isn't part of that group that you would consider the best 9. But Brett Beatty, with the way that he played, got to start against the lefty, so he should be in there the next 3 days. And so it all gets started tomorrow night in Miami against the Miami Marlins. Just to reset here a little bit, Cincinnati's the team that is all on our minds. They have Milwaukee for 3. So the Mets in Miami for 3, Cincinnati taking on Milwaukee for 3. Arizona, they're 2 games back. They still need to be taken seriously until they are eliminated. If anything from this playoff run has taught us, it ain't over till it's over. They have San Diego here for 3. San Diego's not playing for anything. Dodgers clinched the NL West earlier today, so don't know what type of effort you're going to get from San Diego. They're probably going to be in a position to line things up for their series in the first round of the postseason. So it's simple. Take care of what you can control. Go out there and win on Friday. And I believe if the Mets win on Friday and win on Saturday, that's it. Doesn't matter what everybody else does. That will clinch them that spot. So it takes 2 wins. That's all it takes for the Mets to get into the postseason. It has been a roller coaster. It has been a fantastic start to the season. It has been a bumpy end to the season. But going into the final regular season series of the year, the Mets have a 1-game lead for that 3rd and final playoff spot. It is Brendan Sproat going tomorrow for the Mets. Real quick, Francisco Lindor home run 30-30 club. Second time he's hit the 30-30 club. Made sure we get that shout out before we get out of here tonight. Brendan Sproat tomorrow for the Mets going up against Sandy Alcantara. Marlins repositioning their rotation to potentially play spoiler for the Mets. So it'll be Sproat, Alcantara tomorrow 3-game series, all on the line. The Mets holding on to a 1-game lead. We will be right back here on the Locked On Mets YouTube channel and the Locked On Mets podcast feed to recap it all as it goes down. If you are new here, you're watching us over on the Locked On MLB or Locked On Sports Today channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so that you're notified when we go live here, either on the Mets channel or any of those other channels throughout the course of the baseball season. If you're listening to us in the podcast feed and you want to join us live, instant reaction the moment the Mets are done. We got 3 more regular season games. I know with it being football season, my Jets duties over on the Locked On Jets side of things have pulled me away the last couple of Sundays. Jets play on Monday this week. You and me, the next 3 days, the final 3 days of the regular season. So if the Mets make it, it'll be you and I here together to break that all down. If they miss, it'll be a therapy session for you and I over the next 3 days. But we are here the final 3 days of the regular season to break it all down. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight on the Mets Postcast. The Mets win 8-5. Pair of home runs, Francisco Lindor, Brett Beatty. A good start from Nolan McLean. 11 strikeouts. Did give up those 3 home runs, but gave the Mets exactly the start that they needed, and they will go into the final series of the year holding on to a playoff spot. We're back again tomorrow to break down Game 1, Mets-Marlins, Brendan Sproat on the mound. Until then, have a good one, Mets fans.